Hello there. I'm Hewie Poplock. This past week, two of my friends contacted me that they either had a hard drive failure and the other one had a computer failure. The first thing I asked them was, did you back up? Because if they backed up, then it's a matter of getting them either a new hard drive or a new computer and restoring their data and their programs. I'm going to talk about some backup programs that I use. I'm not going to train you on how to use them. I'm just going to give you an introduction to what they are and how they can be used, and then you can decide for yourself whether you want to try them. Here is a typical hard drive file manager, and then poof, they're all gone. What do you do? Well, there's several ways you can back up your system in advance. You have to do it before, not after your hard drive failure. Hard drive failures happen, and they always happen. It's not a matter of if they are going to happen, it's a matter of when they are going to happen. Image backups is one way of backing up your system. An image backup, they are just what the name states, an image of your entire operating system, including files, executable programs, and the operating system configurations. Professional backup solutions will create full or incremental images of the hard drive in an automated fashion. With an image backup, you can restore a single file, a directory, or an entire disk to the same or another hardware or to a virtual machine. You can back up to different devices, such as an external USB drive, a network attached hard drive, network attached services, or other devices. And here's what it is. It goes from the hard drive to either the cloud or to an external hard drive, or from files to an external hard drive. Now, there's another way in which you can back up, and that is file backups. Now, file and folder backups will back up each file on your PC or the ones that you designate. They don't work in case you want to do a full restore of an operating system. File backup systems will save documents, but not the applications that created them. If you did not set up your file backup to save all the documents on your machine, then you won't be able to restore them. You can generally configure file backup systems to take an automated backup of everything at a set time. There's a third way in which you can do a backup, and that's cloning. When you clone a drive, it's simply copying everything on it, including the boot records, files, settings, and themes, to another drive, and get an identical drive. With this technique, there's no intermediary process, as you just connect both drives, copy their contents of the source drive to the destination drive. Then you take the duplicate drive out, you put it in a safe place. If you need it, you then just swap the drives and you're ready to go. So the created drive can be used immediately as a primary drive or kept as a replica. You need to do this often to make sure that you have a recent cloned drive. Now, for my backup, I use a Acronis True Image, the latest version being 2021. It sells for about $50. It is one copy per computer. So if you have two computers, you're going to have to buy two copies of it. They do have some special deals that if you buy three, you get a reduced rate and so on. And the address is at the bottom. You go to acronis.com. Now, yesterday, or over this past weekend, I did a backup of my system. You'll see on the left is the WDC, which is a Western Digital drive uh, that's in my computer. It happens to be an SSD card. And I backed up to a external drive, which is a 10 terabyte external drive. It started the backup, and you can see there it's backing. It had already backed up 93 gigabytes. You can see there that it's saying there's 1 hour and 12 minutes remaining, and I already have backed up about 100 gigabytes, which is about 10% of what I have. And there it is, a little bit larger, so you can see it a little bit better. Then as it proceeded, there was 33 minutes left. And when it finished, it actually took 1 hour and 3 minutes to back up a total of 852.9 gigabytes. 113 of those were pictures, 113 gigabytes. 256 gigabytes of videos, 15 plus gigabytes of audio, 38, almost 38 gigabytes of documents, 30 gigabytes for the system, and then there was another 400 gigabytes of miscellaneous type files. But it did complete. I have a full image backup of my computer as of Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. Some people don't like Acronis True Image, and they use a program called Macrium Reflect. Version 7 is the latest. There is actually a free version of it. And for most people, that's probably all you need. So you don't have to spend $50 or more or less to have a good image backup software. You can use Macrium Reflect. And there's the website on the bottom of the page. You can see the features. There's a lot of features that are not included in the free version, but there are a lot of items that are featured in all of their versions, which you can see in this chart. This is the top of that chart from the last slide. And if you get the free version, you don't get any support, where if you have the paid versions, you do get various levels of support depending upon the version that you have. Another way in which I back up, I use some cloud backup. I use one called iDrive. There are various backup services in the cloud. I happen to have tried iDrive several years ago, probably over 5 years ago. Have been using it ever since. They've now increased the minimum storage that you buy is 5 terabytes. It's generally $70 a year, $69.50 to be exact. But they are running a deal you can see right here for $6.95 for 1 year. Might be worth a try. After that, their special price is $52 a year for 5 terabytes of storage. Now, what they did, because I had, at the time when I first started, I had about a half a gigabyte of data that I wanted to store and back up in the cloud. They sent me a hard drive for free. I ran their software backed up to the hard drive. I mailed it back to them at their cost. And they then put it on the cloud after that. So I didn't have to spend several weeks of uploading to the cloud to get all of my data there. You can see how much what I back up to iDrive, my desktop, the documents, downloads, my Evernote, music, pictures, and videos. You'll notice on the right how much I am backing up from each of those at the time that this was taken, which was Saturday of this past weekend. iDrive allows me to back up several computers to the same backup cloud. So instead, about half of that is for this particular computer, and then I have some other computers, including my phone, being backed up to the cloud. Here's a typical operation, backup operation, which didn't work completely. I've been having some issues, but their tech support has been very good. Since I changed computers, it doesn't seem to want to tell me that it completed the backup. But when I go out and look at the files out on the cloud, they're there. So I am not concerned, but they've been working with me to try to make the software indicate that I am getting all of my files backed up. So you're seeing that I have failure, but each one shows an increase in the number of files that are out there. So it is still backing up my files. And as I said, I have gone back out there and looked online in the cloud, and I can see the files that are being backed up. I can also tell it to schedule backup. Normally I have it set for every night at a certain time, and it's taking anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. If I'm not using the computer, it can take about an hour to do my backup. If I'm using the computer, it slows it down some, and so it may take 2 or 3 hours, but it's doing it in the background, and I can continue working. Now, to do a file by file backup, I use something called Always Sync, which is free. And there is the address for it at the bottom. Once you install it, it says, okay, you need to synchronize and browse first and pick the folder that you want to check, and then go to the other folder, whether it be on a different drive or on the same computer, a different computer, wherever it is, as long as it can connect. And then you tell it to analyze. So I've got the two drives, one on a C drive and one on a portable hard drive. I tell it to analyze, and it goes and says, okay, here are all the files on the C drive, and you don't have any of these on the D drive. And it created the folder for me. I told it to, and it created a folder, but there's nothing in that folder. So you can see where it says do not exist on the right-hand side. So then at that point, I click on the button that says synchronize, and it synchronizes it one file at a time, but it does it quickly. As a matter of fact, it did it in about a minute and a half. If you try to do this from one folder to another hard drive, the same folder, using File Manager in Windows, for instance, and it fails, you don't know which files had been duplicated and which files had not. With this, it figures it all out and says, okay, this one's already there. It's the same file, so you don't have to do anything, and I'll take care of the rest, and it will then fill it up. So it's a really good program, and as I said, it's free. And again, when it was finished, it was updated. All the files are on both the external drive and on the drive. And the next time I do this, and when I do the analyze, it'll show me any files that have been changed or any files that are new. And when I tell it to synchronize, it will put them in either direction. So if I make a change on one drive, on one hard drive, and then on another hard drive with the same folder, it will sync them in either direction. So, in conclusion, please back up. Doesn't matter what you use or how you do it, but do double check and make sure that the backup worked and that you do have a good backup. And one final warning. When I was in the computer business, we had a customer call and say, somebody broke into our place of business and stole our computers and all of the equipment. And we said, did you have a backup? Do you have a backup? And he said, yes. And I said, great. Where is it? He said, it's attached to the computer. That won't help him. So remember that when you do backups, make sure that they're not always left attached to your computer, maybe even in the same room or on the same desk. Somebody breaks in, you get hit by a hurricane or a tornado, and everything disappears. You don't have your backup. So you want to take a backup on an on a regular basis and put it either in a relative's house, a friend's house, or a deposit box in a bank, somewhere safe that you'll know that you have your backup. And also use the cloud for those cases as well. And on that note, I'm Hewie Poplock. Thank you for being with us.
I have a
And
couple.
I also want to mention that Bob G mentioned it after he saw it. Don't leave your external backup hard drive connected. Some people do that and then just have it automatically do the updates. The reason why is sometimes if they get in there, they can, if the bad guys get into your computer, they can also do damage or infect your backup. And you don't want to have your backup infected.
Good day. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. The topic I want to talk today about is, are digital picture frames redundant? I've had a long experience with digital picture frames. Picture frames have been around for many years, probably about 30 years. I don't want to tell you how much money I've spent on digital picture frames, but it's a lot of money over the years. I always thought from the outset that digital picture frames were a pretty good idea. You know, since we're doing digital pictures, we should just be able to display them as on a picture frame. That made a lot of sense. So then came my buying spree in the early days of digital picture frames. Now, over the years, there were a few things that created problems. The first, I always thought that the digital picture frames were more expensive than they should be. I always thought that for what you got, it was just a little more money than it should be. The second thing that I found was that they just didn't work that well. You know, I got the picture frame. I would have a USB key with my pictures on. I'd plug it in, and it should just run. But you know, in the early days, it didn't work that way. Oftentimes it would run. Sometimes it didn't run at all. Sometimes it would run the pictures through maybe twice and then lock up. And then when you read the manual, it said, well, you can only have so many pictures and they have to be a certain size. And sometimes it never read the memory stick that you put in. It was always a problem. And then there was the software. They all had a proprietary software that was just weird. And it took, you know, you had to read this instruction manual. You had to try and figure it out. It was never intuitive. And it was just a big problem. And lastly, it just didn't think that the quality, particularly of the screen, was as good as there was on my computer, or this is long before we had LCD screens on computers like we do today. But it never felt really that things were as good as they should be with these digital picture frames. So you know what I did? I stopped buying digital picture frames for many years. But you know what happened? About 4 years ago, I was in Mesa. Oh, you probably understand about my addiction to Amazon Prime and deal of the day. Well, I'd swore off on digital picture frames, and about 4 years ago, deal of the day on a picture frame, a 7-inch picture frame from a company called Nixplay, Nixplay. I had a weaker moment and bought the frame. I think it was a 7-inch frame, and it was around $70 or $80 on sale. So I bought the frame, and it worked perfectly. It's exactly as it should have. It looked nice. It had a nice screen. I plugged the USB key in. It worked fine. and everything was good. So I thought, well, that's cool. So then the year down in Mesa started to close up, and I thought, well, I'm going to look into the company called Nixplay, Nixplay, and I looked into them, and they actually had a lot of different picture frames, and they had a 10-inch frame, which was wireless and connected to the web. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So I think it was around $180 to $200. So I ordered it, and I had it delivered and brought it back to Canada. And that was 4 years ago, and set it up on our kitchen counter. So let me explain what exactly this picture frame did. So I set it up on our kitchen counter, and the first thing, it's about a 10-inch frame. It accepts a USB key, so you can plug a USB key in and it plays your pictures, which you would expect it to do. But also this frame connects to your Wi-Fi, which is sort of cool. But why would you want it connected to your Wi-Fi? Well, when you buy a picture frame, you get some cloud storage and you get a Nixplay account. That's sort of cool. So you can transfer your pictures into your Nixplay account, and you can have them, you could take them from Google Photos, move them over into your Nixplay account, and then have them actually automatically download onto the onto your digital picture frame in our kitchen. So that's sort of cool. So you actually don't need the USB stick with your pictures on. They will just automatically go Wi-Fi from the cloud down to the picture frame. That's sort of cool. So that was how we started using it. But then there's a second part to this, and that is there's an app on your phone for iOS and Android called, in its Nixplay. So you can have the app on your phone, and as you take the pictures, they will upload to your Nixplay account. So it goes up to the cloud, and then it's going to come back down onto your picture frame. That's sort of cool. And I never used it that much, but this summer, as you all know from my previous videos, we had my daughter, her husband, and our 4-year-old here for 7 months. So they put it on their phones, and as they went around and took the little guy out to the park, and they'd take pictures of him and so on and so forth, the pictures would automatically be downloaded onto the picture frame. Well, what a lot of fun we have. Out of all, you know me, out of all the electronic gadgets I've had, we got the most mileage out of this electronic picture frame. He would sit there and squeal and, "Mama, look at this, Mama, look at this," all day long at these pictures. Now, we had the picture frame in our front room, in our kitchen, and we spent a lot of time in the kitchen because there's a lot of people here, a lot of meal prep going on. So he was usually always around, and he just was infatuated with this. And of course, all the pictures on the picture frame were of him. So it was a lot of fun. So this worked pretty cool. Remember the app on the phone, take a picture, goes up to the cloud, then from the cloud it comes back down onto your picture frame. So that was pretty cool, and I want you to think about this. There's a software that we use that actually does this as well, and I want you to think about what the name of that software is, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, okay? So one thing you can remember is that you can use your television as a picture frame. And in our kitchen, you'll see pictures of how we have the television positioned. Of course, this is my favorite TCL 43-inch television that I have in our kitchen. I use it all the time because I like to cook and I like to watch shows while I'm doing cooking. But we had this, and this got used a lot this summer. But you can use your television as a picture frame. Now, Dewey Cluse and I always talk about smart TVs, but there's we call them a dumb smart TV and a truly smart TV. And what Dewey and I sort of say are dumb smart TVs are the TVs that you get and you purchase and you can connect them to the internet, but it uses the proprietary software on the TV. So for example, for Samsung, it would use the Samsung browser. You'd have to, if you wanted to put any apps on the TV, you'd have to go to the Samsung site. It would download the Samsung apps onto your TV. So that we call that sort of a not so smart TV, and it didn't go to university that long. But we also have the real smart TVs, and these are the ones that have devices connected to them, like the Roku box, like the Fire Stick, or like the new Amazon or the new Google Chromecast, which uses Google TV. All these devices come pre-installed with a lot of really good software, and they are a lot of apps that will allow you to use your TV as a digital picture frame. So that's something you should think about. And they all usually will link into Google Photos. Oops, darn it. That was the thing I was going to quiz you on. If you think about the Nixplay system, what really that is Google Photos. It's the same thing as Google Photos, except Google Photos is bigger. It's on all Android devices, and it's available worldwide, free of charge, with all the features of being able to integrate that I just discussed through Google Photos. So really all you have to do is link your Google Photos account into your TV, which is easy to do, and now you have a digital picture frame with your television, right? So is this really going to make digital picture frames redundant? Well, I don't know. We watched a lot of TV, and while we were watching TV, the little guy was over squealing and looking at the picture frame. So I don't know if I really want to have my TV on all the time as a picture frame like we do with the Nixplay. We just leave it on the counter and it goes all day. So I'm not sure. You have to make a decision on that. So there are 3 devices I'd like to talk about that will be important in our lives as we move into the post-COVID era. Now, I talked about one of those last week, and that is the Amazon Echo. I want you to focus a bit now on the Amazon Echo 10-inch. We're going to talk a little bit about this device. The second will be the Facebook Portal. The Facebook Portal is a 10-inch device. Again, looks about the same, and we'll talk a bit about what it does. And the third one is the Google Home Nest product, which we showed you last week. Again, it's a 10-inch device, and we'll be looking at these now and comparing the 3 and what do they do. But all of these 3 could function as also a digital picture frame. So let's look at these devices now and see how they manage this. All right, let's look at the Amazon Echo Show. The first thing you need to understand about your Amazon account is if you have Amazon Prime, you have unlimited photograph backup to the cloud. Amazon has a cloud backup for your pictures. All you need to do is download the Amazon app onto your phone. You can set that up to back up your pictures, and you can use this in addition to Google Photos as a secondary backup. Amazon backs up all your pictures unaltered and for free if you have Amazon Prime. This is going to be more important now as we move forward with the recent announcement that Google, of course, is going to be charging for cloud storage. So you can look at this, how you might want to use this. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about Amazon Photos now. Let's talk about the Echo Show, the 10-inch we discussed. Well, it's very easy to integrate, of course, Amazon Photos into the Echo Show. So all your pictures on Amazon Photos will easily work as a continuous picture frame on your Amazon Show. Google Photos doesn't integrate in with the Amazon product. It would be very easy to download your pictures or the ones you want to be on your Amazon Echo Show into the Amazon folders on your computer and have them uploaded into your Amazon account. This would be a very easy thing to do, but Google Photos doesn't integrate directly into the Echo Show. But in my case, since I use I have Amazon Prime and I do all my pictures are backed up there as an alternate site, then I have all my pictures coming through on my Echo Show and can easily use it as a picture frame.
You can use your Echo Show like a digital picture frame. Just pick some of your favorite photos from Amazon Photos. To display your photos, say something like, "Alexa, show my vacation photos."
Here's your album, Vacation.
That's an awesome slideshow you have there.
Hey, I like to tropic like it's hot.
Wow. You could also pick a killer photo and set it as the background.
Ooh, Alexa, set this photo as my background.
Okay, setting to home background.
And that is a nice shirt.
Hey, thanks. I was really hoping you were going to say that. I got one for you too.
Well, great. I'm so excited to put it on.
All right. The second device we're going to talk about is the Facebook portal. So how would you display your pictures on your Facebook portal? Well, the Facebook portal doesn't actually link into your Amazon Photos or your Google Photos. What you actually have to do is download your pictures onto your PC or your device that you're going to use, and then you need to upload them into a folder on your Facebook account. This can be a private folder, it doesn't have to be public, but you need to then upload them into a Facebook folder in your Facebook account, and then they are available for viewing on your Facebook portal. They would be, of course, wirelessly transferred down onto your Facebook portal. So you could use your Facebook portal as a digital picture frame as well. A little more work, not quite as easy. Okay, let's look at the third device, which is the Google Home Nest. All right, let's look at the Google Nest Hub. It's Google, so Google Photos has got to work great, and it does. It seamlessly integrates, and out of all the three devices we've just talked about, this is the easiest one to get your pictures onto because it integrates perfectly with Google Photos, which you would expect because, of course, it's Google. I'm not going to go into all the features of Google Photos, but of course you can have shared albums and you can have people uploading your pictures, friends of yours uploading pictures into shared albums. Again, all this would go down onto your display, so this works really very well and actually is more closely related and looks about the same as, remember, NixPlay, which is the original digital picture assistant we talked about. If you were going to use Amazon Photos, what you would do is you would download your Amazon Photos that you wanted on your picture frame, upload them to Google Photos, and then it would display onto the Google's display. So this is, we've compared the three objects now, and will they really replace the digital picture frame? Well, let's look at what you're getting with these three devices. You're not just getting a picture frame, you're actually getting a computer. You're getting a computer, but you're also getting a very good sound audio system and a communication tool. All these three devices will be integrated with Zoom this year. In fact, the portal is integrated with Zoom now. Chris and Jim Gould from Geeks on Tour were showing me last night. We were playing around with it, and indeed you can make a Zoom call with your Facebook portal. The interesting thing is that the new technology is that the cameras are now going to follow you around the room, and as people change, as you're talking, as people talk, the camera will zoom in onto their faces and as people move around the room. So you're getting not just a digital picture frame, you're getting a bunch of other things. So is this a value to you? Is this something that you think that this would replace the digital picture frame? Or would you want to use your television like we've discussed? I guess there's lots of things to be thinking about. Well, in closing, let's look at the prices of these devices. In the slide you see in front of you, these are the prices at Best Buy in the United States on November 14th, 2020. You have the Echo Show 10 for $249. You have the Nest Hub, the Google Nest Hub, a little bit cheaper at $229. You have the Facebook Portal at, it's the cheapest at $179. These three devices have similar screens. Some have options where you can have a higher resolution screen, but I tried to keep the devices the same size and the same resolution so you could compare. The Nixplay Smart Photo Frame is $179. Now, if you look at the bottom, you also have to consider whether you want to use a HD TV such as TCL, which comes with a built-in Roku. You see, you can get TVs that are very small, while 32-inch. I did buy one last year in Mesa, and I think it was about a 24-inch TV. And again, it had it was easy to hook up. I put it on the wall and used it as a picture frame, and I think it was $89. It is harder to find smaller TVs now, but this is a TCL 32-inch HD TV, and it's on for $129. You could mount this on the wall and simply use it as a photo frame. There's built-in software that would allow you to link it to Google Photos, and it would just run as a continuous photo frame. So you could use your TV, and that actually probably is the cheapest solution. So it's Ron Brown, Tech for Seniors. Are digital photo frames becoming redundant?